Bring it back. Welcome to episode 6. It is the Mental Health Boys. How y'all doing today? We are glad to be back for another episode. Yes. And man, the topic we have today, Mr. Foster, it is quite relevant.
Oh, it is juicy.
Yeah, and I know y'all probably gonna think, oh man, this just happened, so they decided to talk about it. No, believe it or not, we had been planning on talking about this for this episode, and it just so happened to coincide with something pretty interesting that took place.
Very true.
So I'm pretty sure. Look, if my mom knows what's going on with TikTok, no disrespect, mom, but if my mom knows what's going on with TikTok, I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners know what's going on. So just to give a very brief overview of what happened, TikTok was lightly banned. Before we got a message saying that who brought it back? Who came through with a cape on to the rescue?
Donald Trump.
My
man, from the Trump Towers, here he comes. Woo!
My man,
Donald Trump.
My man jumped off the Burj Khalifa, flying around with his cape. I'm here to save TikTok. But not manipulation, gaslighting. But you know,
I was thinking something on the politician level.
I don't know.
So it is what it is. But Trump has always been a good businessman.
Listen, Trump, I can say a lot of things about Trump, but one thing I'll never ever claim him not to be. The man is clever. I'll never take that away from him. He's clever and he knows his audience. I would definitely give him that as well. But you know, we could talk about Trump all day, man. Let's move on to what.
But we're gonna say this: we're not supporters, or we're not gonna say that we don't support. We're gonna stay neutral right now.
Exactly.
We're not playing that with anybody. So right now we're on the fence, and we're gonna stay there when it comes to politicians or the political arena.
And at the end of the day, whether you're on one side or the other, we all want peace and we all want to come together and have peace. Right. So I think we can all agree on that side of it. But so today's topic is digital detox and reclaiming your life from screen addiction.
Okay, let's push rewind a little bit.
Yeah,
let's go back to the future. So on Saturday, if everybody can recall when you got that message, for those that didn't know and those that did know, when TikTok was like you said, banned, it was a message, right? Yes, and the message was that our president is working on it, correct?
Yes.
And then after that, it took a couple of hours. Yeah. You know, we seen some people, look like they were strung out.
Meltdown.
Scratching their neck, pacing the floor.
Take a baseball bat.
Holding their knees. What's going on? I can't get on TikTok.
You gotta need them shorts?
Exactly.
You got some of them likes for me, man?
So I thought they would go to the YouTube, look for the reels. Oh, they're not the same. Oh my gosh.
Look, I had people like, hey man, I heard they got a new app that's similar to TikTok.
I
want to download it.
Oh, the alternative.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna download it though.
What?
Gotta find it. Gotta try it.
Really?
Gotta get it. Gotta have it. Breathing hard and stuff, man.
It is amazing.
But one thing I will say is that if it showed you anything, it showed you that the response that people will have to it is similar to a withdrawal from drugs. And because it is a drug in a sense.
It is
a drug. And so do you have anybody in your life, anyone close to you, that had any kind of response to this? Because I'm just curious to see how they responded to it. Because I can give you a little bit of insight on how the individuals in my house responded to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So my daughter, she's 14, and of course, she was raving in the house. Oh, TikTok's gone. Oh, they have it in Canada and everywhere else, but they don't have it here. And I'm just walking and looking, and so I had jokes for miles. And I was joking till the wheels fell off, seriously, because I felt like it was a perfect opportunity to take advantage of conversation that me and her had. And I told her weeks prior, I said, look, because she has the girl's amazing. This young girl's so talented. So in her spare time, that's what she does. And I was like, if you could put that down for at least 1 hour a day for the next couple of weeks and substitute it with what you want to do in your life, nursing, whatever it is, and actually start reading and devouring things. I said, you will be amazed at the information that you're just providing to yourself. You will probably be waking something up that's really dormant inside of you that you probably never knew. But by entertaining certain things in your life, what you're doing is you're actually you're prolonging it. You're prolonging the awakening. You're prolonging the things that you have in you. So I just sat there and I watched it and I said, this is the test. here it is. This is it for you. You got hours. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm proud of her. She did some amazing things. She made some doggy treats. She makes doggy treats, crying out loud. And then she did some other stuff. So, so she took it well.
I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for that. Can I start off with a quick fact for you real quick?
Share it, brother.
The average person spends upwards of over 7 hours a day looking at screen. And about 50% of people admit to feeling addicted to their devices. Now, I feel like when you're inside of addiction, it's almost like when a person is in a house or in a situation. From the outside looking in, it looks very obvious to us.
Yep.
But when you're in the midst of it, when you're intertwined into it, you don't really see it as much.
Okay.
The fact that 50% of people admit to feeling addicted to their devices probably means the actual number, because these are just the people that admit it, that acknowledge and see it. I don't think it's anything that we can deny at this point, that phone addiction and social media addiction, but just screen addiction in general, it's a problem.
It is.
It's a problem.
It is.
Have you had any kind of experiences with screen addiction or getting close to?
Have I had it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, back in the day, I would say video games, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not like how I used to be when I was a kid, but the video game for me was my ecstasy. It was my escape from the actual reality of reality. And I was in control, especially if I played a game I already knew and a game that I already had beaten.
Yeah.
So, you know, you put that, they had Game Genie back then. Yeah. You put the Game Genie codes in there.
Yeah, you had to have the codes. Even when you bought the Game Genie, you still had to have the book with the codes in there. Like, if you lost the book, you screwed. But no, we didn't have internet to go look it up. Like,
but you know what we did do? We would go to the library, or we would go to bookstores, and they would have the video game stuff. Yeah. And I'd sit there and study, and I'd write down, you know, getting all that information and go home with the Game Genie codes. But that was my thing. How
long did you have access to that? Because obviously it's not like how it is today, where, you know, you got a Nintendo or Super Nintendo or Genesis and it's sitting at home and your mom probably limited you to a certain amount of time and you probably had to do homework and everything before. But when you can get all of that packed into something this small.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Kids even younger are getting access to it.
Yes.
There are kids that are 9, 10, 11 years old that have access to all of the same things that we have access to on our phones, man. How do we get to a point where we can pull back? Because I feel like something like this, because it's not only just entertainment. We've allowed it to become something that is essential in our life. I pay all my bills on it. Like, I can't remember the last time I walked in, and I understand that's not necessarily social media, but it's still part of staring at a screen for 7 hours a day. I'm paying bills online. I'm watching YouTube online. I'm doing everything in front of the screen or whatever. So when we get an instance where, say, the power goes, or the internet goes out, or your phone dies, it almost feels foreign. You almost don't know what to do, and it makes you realize how much you really are deep into it.
You ever seen that movie called Surrogate? The Surrogate?
No.
Okay, by the way, audience, this guy has never seen.
Oh, here we go. No, don't put my business out there.
He has never seen Boys in the Hood.
Nah, look, I'm working on. I know.
Believe it or not, but that's the very beginning.
Like my mother, Miss Sapp, it's your fault.
But the kind of stick on the topic. This guy's never seen. But so there's a movie called Surrogate. The Surrogate is with Bruce Willis. It's a bunch of people that are like walking around, but they're like droids. So you can make these droids look however you want them to look. It's so funny because it's Bruce Willis is in the doctor. He's at the hospital, and the guy's badge is a black 6'5" guy. And believe it or not, all the people are sitting at home in a chair, a virtual reality chair. And so this guy that looks black at home, he's like a 300-pound white guy. So it's almost like you could be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And
right.
And then so these people are that's their life. Their life is to sit in the chair, they get out of the bed, they go into this room, virtual room, and their drone or their person lives their life that they always want to live. There's a group of people called fleshies. They refuse to actually do this. And they're like, we want to go ahead and get rid of this stuff and all this virtual reality. Well, anyway, long story short, in the movie, all the virtual reality people, they're gone. The people that are actually in the houses, you could see them. They're like out of shape. They're pale. They're anxious because they haven't had people interaction. So that's actually social media. That's what a lot of technology does. You know, it takes us away from people interaction.
I wanted to, and this is something that we're kind of already familiar with. I think it's necessary for us to kind of talk about it with our listeners. What do you feel like And we know that dopamine,
Mm-hmm.
we know that it's about getting that like, it's about getting that engagement, having somebody comment on your comment.
Exactly.
But why do you feel like it's so easy for everyone to just fall into that trap? Like, do you think it's because do you think it's the ease of it? Do you think it's the accessibility of it? Do you feel like...
Sure, it's all of that. It's all of that. And we all want to feel significant. Everybody has the need to feel needed. It has to be like, I mean, even if it's like 25% of your life or 10%, everybody still wants to feel needed, like they have a purpose in place. And I believe that once you find it with individuals that accept you, even if it's negative acceptance, you can find that on the internet. You can find that on a video game. I mean, you go to Fortnite, you're up there with a whole bunch of other people on Fortnite.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, go ahead.
No. I was just to piggyback off what you were saying. I think just being able to get that, but I saw something interesting. So there was a young lady who was talking about the feeling of having a viral post. And I was just like, I can't believe I'm watching a video on the psychology of having a viral post. But it was very interesting to me because she said, you go through this phase of like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all these likes. Like, oh my gosh, 10,000, 20, 30. She said, and you get up there and she was like, you just get this euphoric feeling. She said, and then when it stopped, she was like, now what?
Mm.
And she was like, you're never satisfied with it. Mm. Like, you don't get all those likes and say, wow, that was an experience that I'm always going to cherish. She was like, you want to get that next hit. She was like, cause, she was like, I got 50,000 likes. Now I want to see, what's it like to get 60 or 70? Or I got it this week. What about next week? And it's almost like you're never really satisfied.
Isn't that a Black Mirror episode?
Oh, now you listen, man.
That was a Black Mirror episode.
I love me some Black Mirror, man.
Yeah, I remember that on Black Mirror.
Yeah,
she was getting a whole bunch of likes, and she was, I remember that.
I gotta,
we gotta necessarily bring it up.
I want to say it's nose down, but we'll talk about that one day. But no, it's the thought that you're never really satisfied.
Yeah.
Because even when you get those likes, it's like, you can't do it. You can't cash them in.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just there for that temporary fix. It's like I said, it's like a drug.
Yeah.
You get that, ooh, look at that, like. But like I said, when it's over, it's like now you're chasing the next one.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how, and it's something that's weird. It's different because this is something that we didn't deal with because it wasn't available to us. So this is not something that you're going to see talked about in, a lot of books. It's not something that we learned about in school and whatnot. So it's something that we're all kind of navigating together because it is new.
It is new.
But I do think that we have to start taking steps. Just a brief example. I know you were talking about your dog. Let me talk about my nephew, man, who probably if you listen to this, them personally, I love you. But, he started recently doing vlogs, video blogs.
Oh.
And he's getting to that phase where, he'll go out and it's just like, all right, I'm walking, I gotta record this for them. I'm in school, I gotta record this for them. I'm in class, I gotta record this for them. I just left from the doctor, gotta record this for them. And I understand the psyche behind it. I understand the psychology behind it. But to a certain extent, sometimes I'm like, man, are you like it's almost like you're letting the moment escape you.
Yeah.
I
see that.
And so, I know I'm kind of went off on a tangent there, man.
No. I see what you're saying. To me, it's almost like this. I remember, I guess this is a movie day for me. I don't know. I don't even want to ask Chris if he's seen the movie.
Hey.
Well, actually, I can think of two different movies.
Okay.
Actually, maybe three.
I guarantee I've seen at least one.
Okay. Kind of like from the 80s, 90s.
Okay, talk to me.
Howard the Duck.
Oh, yes, I've seen Howard the Duck.
Yeah,
but
was like
which a lot of people didn't know. He's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, he is.
And a lot of people did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. When I watched it one day, I saw the whole book. I was like,
put some respect on my boy now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's in it because it was Marvel.
Yeah. Yes, I see how.
But you get the whole alien concept where the alien comes to Earth and they just try to collect data so they can actually blend in to socialize or to identify with people. So it's almost like a mechanism that we use for survival. Where we're trying to identify with people. So we're getting information. The information we're getting is, okay, we want to identify with this group of audience. So this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to wear. This is how we're going to talk. This is what we're going to go to. These are the places that are acceptable, not acceptable. So we've basically shaped ourselves into what an influencer would, influence us in. Cause you have shapers and influencers. And so for us, what we're doing is we fashion. Fashion is a word that I like to use. And, biblically, it actually means exterior, kind of like a fashion show. fashion is exterior, it's not internal. We fashion ourselves after what we feel like we need to be like to be accepted.
Yes.
You catch that?
Yes.
Instead of allowing ourselves, and this is why I like Jeremiah, my son's podcast, is being authentic, is he talks about actually pulling stuff out of you. And if I could just share just a little thing
please.
About just pulling stuff out of you, it requires what we would call an ego death. I like the ego death because ego death is actually something that makes you feel like you have to let go of certain things in your life, because the ego is what you wear, what you like. It's the places you go. It's the house you live in. It's the car you drive. It's the status that you feel like you need to have. So when you're going through an ego death, you're shedding a lot of all of these facades or all of these things that you're fashioning yourself after from other people, and you're learning more about yourself. If you learn more about yourself, you'll find that, like Zig Ziglar said, there's one thing that you could do that millions in this world cannot do. That's crazy. You can do one thing that more than, you can do this one thing, not even half or millions and billions of people, they can't do that. Yeah. That one thing.
That's amazing.
It's kind of deep, man.
It's very deep, actually, when you think about it. I did want to ask you something, though, man. I know that we've talked a lot about the problems that we've gotten, that come with this. I wanted to kind of look at this from two different angles.
Shoot, let's do it.
As parents, what do you think would be some good ways to approach this? And then just as individuals, because I struggle, and this is just me coming to you, like, I know we're talking on the show, but I think, we talk in general, and sometimes we ask each other for advice. How do you approach the monitoring and having certain time frames for the kids? Like, do you have different amounts depending on, which kid it is, how old they are, where they're using that screen time at? Like, do you have any advice or tips on that from a parental standpoint?
Oh, for sure. I would say first lead by example. Okay. For me, I know I really haven't been on social media a lot. I think it's almost been maybe 2 years. And, due to, of course, a lot of what we do now, I'm getting reacclimated back into it now. I might have like 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and I'll just scroll. Oh, I forgot somebody's birthday or whatever, just keep up with things. But other than that, as a parent, we have got to lead by example, because, we telling our kids to do one thing and we're doing the opposite. We're saying we're a parent. To me, that's not a good example of leading. Yeah. Secondly, I would actually say there's so many apps that are out now, so many. My wife, Maria, she actually has these apps. It's so funny to see her, like, she could tell you how long they were on there for, where they went and everything. I love it. So utilizing the apps to actually help. Yeah. So I think you made a great point. The leading by example, I think, is huge. And this is not me taking shots at anybody. Like I said, we work at home. Yeah. So, we see, and myself included, there are times where you get home, you're tired, and you just want to plop down, and it's what it is? It's convenient. It is. It's very convenient to just plop down and say, man, I just want to, and it's easy, it's convenient, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. But I feel like it was the reason why, I don't know if you remember this, I called you one day and I was just like, man, I want to make some positive change. And I want to do more stuff. I want to work out more. It was part of that was me falling into the hole of just like, all right, I'm just, all right, I'm tired, man. I'm just, and it's easy. Yeah, I just take my finger and I just scroll. Don't like it. Okay. Don't like it. Oh, I like this one. Yeah. Don't like this. Yeah. I don't have to work for it. I don't have to do anything for it. All I have to do is just move 1 inch. But then we're not challenging ourselves. And we're not allowing ourselves to grow because, like we said, man, what do they say? Pressure creates down. What's the saying? Yeah, I forget what the saying is. But unless you put yourself in a situation where you have to grow, then you won't grow. That's very true. And I feel like it allows us to put ourselves in these very simple, easy, comfortable. What you used to tell me? Oh man, you gotta learn how to get comfortable. With being uncomfortable. You hitting the nails, or you hit two nails real hard. Two things that you said, boy, that struck hard. First thing that you mentioned is an individual has to learn how to identify what's a habit and what's a behavior. Because over 66 days, if you repeat a behavior, it eventually becomes a habit. People typically do things that, like, hey, I'm having a bad day. And you see this happen a lot with people. They drink. Having 2 bad days or 4 or 5 things happen to your life, you're noticing that you're drinking a little bit more. And then all of a sudden it becomes a habit to where you're drinking to the point where you're not even identifying if it's an issue. Like we were saying before, some people don't even realize that social media is something they could get addicted to, right?
Yeah.
So by this time, bump it being a pattern behavior, you're addicted.
Yeah.
And it could be hard to kick it. And you try and you're like, oh, man, just one day, I'm gonna reward myself. I did 3 days, so let me go back to it,
My wife actually made a good point. She was like, I don't think a lot of people realize that they were addicted until they heard that it would be gone.
Exactly.
And you start seeing people on YouTube like, hey man, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. They say TikTok's gonna, and then, I found myself trying to just, scroll and I couldn't, and I mean, like literally look like sounding like they are losing, but you know what? To them, they are losing something that's huge in their life. They are losing something that's a big deal to them. So like, I've learned not to be judgmental to that, because not granted, I feel like they need to, maybe work on kind of changing the direction of where they're going with that, of course, but I'm not going to ever be judgmental, because a lot of times I think these people don't even realize they're that deep in until they realize like, oh crap, it's gone. Like what? I've seen people in there looking like they were about to literally lose their mind, man.
Yeah,
but hey, if anything, at least it gives them the opportunity to acknowledge that
That's
there
right.
is an issue.
That's right. Yeah. So the second thing you hit on was the fact that you've identified something that a lot of people struggle with.
What's that?
And that's who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because when you pull all of this stuff away, you're gonna have to do some shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna start to realize that, because the conscious mind, it works, almost simultaneously with the conscious mind. So if you're like doing all these things by habit, remember it's a habit. So consciously you're just doing it. So imagine if you take it away, you're like, what do? I don't know what to do. So people don't know how to problem solve anymore. People don't know how to troubleshoot anymore. Critical thinking is something that seems to be shrinking in today's society. Like, I mean, just getting on the interstate, knowing that this person next to you is wrong, there's a yield sign.
Yeah.
They look at you and they're mad at you because they were at fault.
Exactly.
It's almost like, where's the responsibility?
Where's the responsibility?
My goodness gracious, where's the where's it going? Yeah. If responsibility is leaving, I can imagine where customer service going. That literally happened to me.
Yeah.
I actually had a complaint about something, and the lady got mad at me because I was complaining. Like I was messing her day.
That blows me. I know we about to have a real homie moment.
Gracious. Yeah.
One of our late night conversations, man. But that irks my nerves. How dare you take my money?
Yes.
And then if I even make a slight like, hey, what about when you ask for an order and they mess it up and you're not even rude about it? You're just like, hey, I actually asked for this with no cheese.
Yep.
Like, jeez. Like, exactly. I'm sorry that I inconvenienced you with my request for something that I paid for.
Exactly. So you know what it sounds like? It sounds like social media gives us a sense of control.
Yeah.
It gives us a sense of control where, hey, this person's posting this. Like you said, I got a bunch of likes. Yeah. Hey, they like me on here.
Yeah.
What does it matter? Yeah. But also it does this. It creates more anxiety.
Oh, 100%.
You see your life. You see, oh, Bobby and them went to Vegas. They had an all guys trip at Vegas. I couldn't go.
Yeah, and it's the comparison. It's what do they call it? FOMO, fear of missing out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Talk about it, sir.
Yeah, not only that, they've said that the percentage of individuals that report feeling depressed or having depression, they said when the time online increases, so does the depression.
Ooh.
It's because they find people that they feel that they can relate with. Okay, she's a young black woman, so she's like me. Or this is a black individual that's in his late 30s, early 40s, so he's like me. And we find somebody that looks like us or that we think is like us, and we just start comparing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's 39, living in Virginia, and he's got 2 Benzes and a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I have that? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Why am I a failure? Whole time I'm making more than your average, but I'm not comparing it. I'm not comparing it logically. I'm comparing it just to what I see. And it's almost like we gravitate to it. Because if somebody if I told you that and you told me, well, Chris, you're actually doing really well. You're in good shape financially. You're doing, I would hear you. But a lot of times that same person will go right back online and be like, yeah, but I'm still not doing it like this guy.
That's right.
Why can't I do it like him? He's got a mansion and 2 Benz and all these women love him and he's got 50 million likes. And why can't I be like him? Whole time, I don't know what he's going through.
Nope.
He might be internally, he might be miserable.
Yep.
I may be in a way better place than him spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
mentally, but I gravitate to this because it's the flashiness. I want that. That is a dangerous hole
It is
to fall into.
It is
Very dangerous.
You're right, brother.
And it's everywhere online.
It's
It's everywhere because the whole culture, every place you go to, there's etiquette that you gotta follow.
That's facts.
And online etiquette, it's like, you're not supposed to be humble. You're supposed to let everybody see like, oh, I'm on this trip and I'm in this car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's just accepted.
Yep.
And because of that, it's always going to be that negative comparison, man. And it's always going to have a detrimental effect, especially on our younger kids, man.
Yeah. Could you imagine a person on social media, yep, little picture at their door, I'm going to work, pay my bills, yep, get in my car, paid for, 95, Honda Civic.
That's not fun. That's not,
watch my fatback television. Could you imagine? I mean, it's just not enough juice.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
And we would probably like laugh at it, you know?
Even though those same people laughing are probably doing the exact same thing, but people get online not to see what they can see in the mirror. They get online to see stuff that they can't see.
That's right.
Look in the mirror.
That's right.
But then what they don't realize is that they start to judge themselves for you, because a lot of those people become their own worst enemies.
Sounds like we're aliens living on Earth. Sounds like we're the very thing that I was talking, like Howard the Duck and them. I mean, we're trying to be shaped by society and what's acceptable and what's not.
Isn't it weird that the person that's always looked at as the weird one is the person who doesn't care about fitting into society? That's the weird person.
Mm-hmm.
We don't look at the people that are trying to fit into, and granted, we're not knocking the people for it. We've all done. We're human beings, but we want to try to work towards getting away from that because there is beauty in individuality.
Yes, there is.
And uniqueness. But real quick, I know we've kind of went off on a tangent a little bit. I wanted to kind of briefly talk about signs that you may be addicted, because it's important. As we talked about before, acknowledgement is one of the most important things when you're trying to make positive changes. Acknowledgement is huge. So what are, in your opinion, maybe some signs that you may be addicted? I know a big one is when you're throwing responsibility to the side for that. When you're missing important things, work, you're late to work, you're not getting adequate sleep.
That's a good point right there, because what you're doing is you're making excuses for everything except for the true authentic accountability, which is yourself.
Exactly.
If you're always saying that my dog ate my homework thing, or I'm late for work because I forgot to set or somebody messed my alarm clock and everything up, you're missing the whole point. Like what you're saying, brother. Acknowledgement.
3 of the biggest things that they say can give you a sign that you may be addicted. They said feeling extremely anxious when you're unable to access your phone.
Yep.
Staying up late, scrolling through social media with no real direction.
Ooh.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
Having trouble focusing on tasks without checking your phone every few minutes. And then finding yourself using screens more than spending time with people in real life.
That's right. Now, you mentioned something that we got to go back to. What you're saying is you mentioned family, like our kids. So it's very important, because we don't do this anymore. For those that have a dinner table, find time to spend time with your kids at a dinner table at least 3 to 4 times a week. Even if it's to play, a game. I was playing, I forgot this. Of course, I played Uno with Gabrielle, with the family, over the weekend. That's another game they introduced me to. It's pretty cool. I forgot the name of it, but it was a new game. It was the fact that we're going to introduce a new game, and I wanted to play a new game. So spending that quality time in the flesh, it does a lot. It bridges communication. It bridges synergy, So, just being able to do something like that, and even have a meal. And hey, this is a meal where we're going to take our devices and we're just going to put it to the side. We don't want to see what, Keisha, anybody else did, whatever at the concert. Right now, we're going to focus on what's in front of us. So, they may buck, they may get mad, they may get upset, but they'll think about this later on in life. So
Absolutely, man. So, like I said, those are all signs that you might want to look at yourself and ask, do any of those apply to me? And if so, like I said, we do have a few things that you can try to do to work towards, kind of decreasing that screen time and detail. So I know for me, one of the biggest things that I do, and because this is a mental health show, we want to also talk about things that we do as well. We want to talk about the improvements we're trying to make. Something that I've been doing personally. I've been, getting more into space. I'll be honest. I'm that nerd that's outside. I'm looking up at the binoculars and the telescope, looking up at the moon, looking up at the stars and stuff. It's awesome. It's something different, but it's giving me an opportunity to kind of take a break from the screen, working out more.
There you go.
Putting it, and this is something that we talked about before, having a visual, putting it on the refrigerator. Hey,
that's right.
Hour exercise today. Hey, go outside, look at the stars, take a walk today. Like I said, giving myself those visuals and things that I can look at as a reminder.
Yeah. And I was, of course, I just didn't want to leave everybody hanging with the whole parent thing. And
I'm so sorry about that.
No, you're fine. But as far as like bringing it to what Chris is saying, it's imperative to start doing earthing is what I call it. Earthing is just touching anything that's a tree. Yeah. Grass. Hey, I love kayaking. So I get in a kayak and I actually put my hands in the water.
So I can do that.
And I breathe. Take a nice deep breath when I'm kayaking. I actually do meditation. I love to do that instead of taking the time to, really toggle stuff on my phone. We do need technology, but we don't need it to the point where we're going to die. So, other than earthing, just being able to just relax, just do things with family. Hey, let's go out. Like you said, let's go walking or, let's go play football. You got a kid that's, playing football, basketball, whatever. Spend some time to try to help them develop their skill. If you don't know what they're doing, or if you don't know the sport, learn the sport with them. You could do that as well. So there's so many different things that we could do other than spending that extra time. But I think it could sound like a mountain when you're trying to say we're just trying to get rid of this in our life. So we're not saying that. We're saying take like maybe an hour. Carve out an hour or two a day or a week. Yeah, we ain't asking for a 10-hour a day thing. Yeah, that's progress, right? Yeah, exactly. All progress, the little teeny pieces, that's progress. So don't beat yourself up too bad.
And progress usually always comes in small steps.
It does.
So don't expect yourself to be able to, just snap your finger and everything changes. Don't give up on yourself either though, but understand that it's a process and talk about it with people you're close to as well. That's right. A lot of times having a partner to do it with or to try it with, that's also a good thing, a good strategy as well. Ms. Foss, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? So
Martin Luther King said this. Well, we have Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah. Oh, perfect time for it.
So he said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Take the first step.
That's deep.
So I think I don't want to I think Christopher Columbus might have said that. I don't know. I really don't. But you can never see the ocean if you're not willing to leave the shore.
Bars.
So find time to see what that's like. I think I said that last week, but find time.
You never say it enough, brother.
Exactly, man. Because the truth is, if you look at the whole instead of the components that make the whole up, it can intimidate you. Yeah. So try to take time out to really focus on just taking the first step. And then every time you take the first step, do the same thing. Yeah, we mentioned this because I talked about my coach. Yeah. But it was landmarks and stuff. And
it was great though. And I think it's still a good strategy for anybody to try to apply to their real life. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be to this particular topic. I think just in life in general. Yeah, I would continue to say share with people that you're close to. Don't keep it bottled up. A big thing that helped me was feeling comfortable enough to talk to Steve, talk to my wife, talk to people that I'm close to about things I want to change, because when I talk to them about it, then they can hold me accountable. And I think accountability is huge. Like the fact that that I'm trying to make certain positive changes. You don't do it in an aggressive way. You just throw it out there just to let me know like, hey, I remember you said you went, hey, how you doing this weekend? You work out at all? You just throw those, and sometimes those little small things are just enough to be like, I gotta get back on it. I gotta get back and lift the weights when I get back to communicate, talk with people that you're close to. Yeah. And like I said, reach out to people, and hey, reach out to us if you got to, man. With that being said, you can feel free to reach out to us. As we stated before, we work for a mental health agency. Mr. Foss agency, Foundations to Success. We do a lot of different services, and we are more than happy to help you with any type of mental health needs that you may have. The main number is 782-2181. And even if you just want to reach out and ask questions, just, hey, what are these services that you guys offer? And what do I need to do to be, to be able to access these services? Whatever you may need, feel free to call and hopefully we can help you. Once again, that phone number is 757-782-2181.
So yeah, with everything like that being said, with being addicted to, social media and all other types of platforms that may gravitate your attention. Just real quick, I do remember when I was a kid, I used to take mine wasn't an addiction until I started to get mad and take that Game Boy, not literally a Game Boy, but that game. And boy, I used to chuck that thing. I even tried chucking in the toilet a couple times, man. Trying to beat Eternal Champions.
I remember.
Lord Jesus, I couldn't beat that guy. So, but, so that lets you know right there. If your anger, is consuming when you're playing video games, it's actually time to pull it away because there's something going on because anger is actually a secondary emotion. So that means there's something else going on inside. So that says I need to pull away and I need to start doing some ego shedding.
And regain control.
Exactly. So we don't want to leave you guys without giving you our information. So Foundations to Success is a company that I started about 4 years ago. It is a community of people that helps our community, helping one person at a time. So you could reach us, of course, 757. That's the area code. 782-2181 is the number. You can reach us also at foundationstosuccess.com, all spelled out. There's no number 2. This is foundations with an S, to success.com. Hey, and of course, we are available. We have intake specialists that are available as well. Therapists that are here. So many, it's a plethora of individuals. Like I said, we're a community. Absolutely. We're here to listen. That's the most important part I want to say. We are here to listen because we need that more in this world today. So reach out to us if you need us. We are the Mental Health Boys.
We out of here.
Deuces, y'all.
Thank y'all for listening.
Make this week great.
Absolutely.
Make it great. Make it great.
Absolutely. We out.